Thank you, Hi, for reminding me to push record, as I just forgot. But thank you. We are recording now, and we move on with our service. The cantor has a special melody for Yontif, for Micha Mocha, as we acknowledge both the receiving of the commandments and the crossing of the sea, two wondrous miracles for all.
Micha Mocha BADIM Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar BaKodesh, Nora Tehilot HaSefele Adonai Malach Leolam.
Amen v'amen. Stacy, would you please send a link to the Boar Masters? They are trying to link on, and we're going to the wrong link.
Okay.
Thanks, Aaron.
You're welcome.
Another tradition on Shavuot is to hear some Hallel. Hallel, the praise of God. Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, and Cantor has a special rendition, Hodu Ladonai, for us.
Adonai, Hodu Ladonai Ki Tov, Ki Leolam Chasdo. Ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye. Yomarna, Yisrael, ki leolam chasdo. Ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye. Yomruna bedaron ki leolam chasdo. Ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye. Yomruna yire Adonai ki leolam chasdo. Ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye bye, ya ba 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 bye, ya ba 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 bye bye bye.
So here we are, the day 7 weeks after Pesach, where we remember the journey that we went on so many years ago, and that beautiful time of receiving the 10 Commandments. We have this tradition to remember, and we have the story that we were all of us were at Sinai to receive the 10 Commandments. And we said, we will do what you have said. We heard the words of Moses, and we heard those 10 Commandments, and that commitment has been with us for these many centuries later. And so, friends, there's more than the 10 Commandments, though. Of course, there then came 603 more, and so we count 613 commandments. And of course, we might forget one or two now and again. But one of the things the sages have given us is the pairing of when we learn together, we learn multiple things. The book of Ruth is recited the same time as we observe Shavuot and the Ten Commandments. Why the book of Ruth? Now, I have to share with you that the book of Ruth happens to be my personal favorite book in the entire Bible. Yes, the book of Ruth. Some of you are more familiar with it than others, but it begins with a tragedy. It begins with the tragedy of a woman named Naomi, who lost her husband and 2 sons, and 3 widows traveling together. Naomi, Ruth, and Orpah. And Naomi said to these women, these young widows, go back to your land, go back to your home, go back to the tribe of Moab to find new husbands. And Orpah tearfully said goodbye to the 2, but Ruth said one of the most famous lines in all of Torah: don't ask me to leave you. Wherever you go, I shall go. Where you live, I shall live. Where you die, I shall die. Your people are my people, and your God is my God. Well, this is the beginning of a fabulous story, but it doesn't end there, because these 2 poor widows go back to the land of Bethlehem, where they came from, and as poor widows, they're not greeted with great acclaim. In fact, people came to Naomi and said, what happened to you? Well, she lost a husband and 2 sons. She was in grief. She was a mess. She said, don't even call me Naomi anymore, because Naomi means pleasant. She said, call me Mara, which means bitter. And she instructed Ruth, her daughter-in-law, to go glean in the fields. Gleaning, that practice that we are taught when to prevent disgrace, to prevent humiliation, so that widows and orphans would not have to beg, but the people were to leave the gleanings, to leave the corners of their field so that people could actively come get them. And she went to glean in the field of Boaz. Boaz was a distant relative of Naomi's husband, her late husband. And Boaz noticed how hard she was working, and he told the workers to give her extra food. And Ruth became the beneficiary of Boaz's kindness. So one kindness led to another. And when Naomi heard about how kind Boaz had been to her, she said, go back to him. Go back to him at night and offer yourself to him as a woman. But Boaz said, I'm going to make you an honest woman. I'm going to do what I can to redeem you and to marry you and make you my wife. And he did. He did not take advantage of her. He kindly found the right way to marry her. And they had children. And they had a son named Obed, who had a son named Jesse, who had a son named David, who became David Melech Israel, David, the king of Israel. And we are taught that David, the king of Israel, an ancestor of his, will one day be the Messiah. And Ruth started as a Moabite. Throughout the whole book, she's referred to as Ruth the Moabite. She had that identity, but the Moabites were not known to be such a righteous people. The Moabites started long, long ago, and the Moabites went back all the way to Lot, Abraham's nephew. Lot, whose city, Sodom and Gomorrah, was destroyed. And the children of Lot were the products of an unusual relationship. And so what does this tell us? And why is this important on Shavuot? And why is Ruth the hero of Shavuot? Because regardless of who we are, regardless of our status, regardless of our origins, we were all at Sinai to hear the 10 Commandments. In fact, there's a legend that says that there were many Egyptians who left Egypt with the Israelites because they saw the injustices of Egypt, and that many Egyptians were part of that group that heard the 10 Commandments, and that some of them those who heard the Ten Commandments and believed in justice, that generations later, that their ancestors were among the people who chose to convert to Judaism. And what a beautiful story to remind us that we all have received the commandments and that all of us have that opportunity to start with one kindness leading to another. This is the lesson of receiving the Ten Commandments, receiving kindnesses, and offering kindnesses to each other. No wonder that Ruth is one of my favorite books, because here was a poor young widow who said to her mother-in-law, an elder widow, I am with you. I will always be with you. I will be with you forever and beyond. And so this is our connection to the Ten Commandments, that we are with God forever and beyond, from long before we started our lives till long afterwards. Our commitment, our covenant is to stay together. And so here we have this opportunity on Shavuot. It's an exciting time. It's a time to remember the Ten Commandments, and sometimes we might forget. And so in order that we don't forget, I'm going to, let's see if I can do this properly. All right, do you see the Ten Commandments? Do you see the Ten Commandments on your screen?
Yeah.
All right, you see them all?
Yes.
In Hebrew or English?
English.
In English.
All right, well, we'll stick with the English then. And in case you don't have my screen to watch, years ago, I was visiting a summer camp, Camp Coleman, which is directed by a friend of mine named Bobby Harris. And he's been there now 25 years. And a few years ago, when I was visiting there, some of the camp counselors gave a little melody that helped me remember the Ten Commandments and their order. So from your homes, even if you're muted, you have the opportunity to join us in this little melody that I forget where the origin came from, but I'm sure it was a Jewish composer. The first commandment that God gave to me, I am the Lord your God. Do you recognize the tune? Sing it at home if you like. The second commandment that God gave to me, 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. The third commandment that God gave to me, 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. The fourth commandment that God gave to me, 4, keep the Sabbath. 3, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. You catching on yet? The fifth commandment that God gave to me, an important one, 5, honor parents. 4, keep Shabbat. 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. The sixth commandment that God gave to me, 6, do not murder. 5, honor parents. 4, keep Shabbat. 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. The seventh commandment that God gave to me, 7, no cheating. 6, do not murder. 5, honor parents. 4, keep Shabbat. 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. The eighth commandment that God gave to me, 8, no stealing. 7, no cheating. 6, do not murder. 5, honor parents. 4, keep Shabbat. 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. The ninth commandment that God gave to me, 9, no lying. 8, no stealing. 7, no cheating. 6, do not murder. 5, honor parents. 4, keep Shabbat. 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols because I am the Lord your God. And the 10th commandment that God gave to me, 10, don't be jealous. 9, no lying. 8, no stealing. 7, no cheating. 6, do not murder. 5, honor parents. 4, keep Shabbat. 3, no swearing. 2, don't make idols, because I am the Lord your God. And so there's a way to remember the 10 Commandments, a way that is fun and a way that's exciting and connects us with others. And now, in honor of Shavuot, we're going to hear the most famous lines from the book of Ruth, chanted in the Hebrew by the cantor.
It was beautiful chant, by the way, all those 10 commandments. I never heard this before. So dramatic and so powerful. And here's the melody. This melody was written by one of my teachers at Hebrew in college, Cantor Lawrence Avery. He's one of the giants in Jewish music, and he wrote this breathtaking melody.
Excuse me, Cantor, just to clarify, he wrote the melody for the book of Ruth. He didn't write the 12 Days of Christmas, right?
He wrote that too.
אל תפגעי לעוזבך, לשוב מאחרייך. כי אל אשר תלכי אלך, ובאשר תליני אלין. עמך, עמי ואלוהיך אלוהי. עמך, עמי ואלוהיך אלוהי. באשר תמותי אמות, ושם אקבר. כה יעשה אדוני לי, וכה יוסיף, כי המוות יפריט בעיני
Wherever you go, I shall go. Your people are my people. Your God is my God. Where you live, I shall live. Where you die, I shall die. The commitment that Ruth had to her mother-in-law is an example for all of us as we have our commitment to the future of the Jewish people. And now we offer a special healing blessing as we commit ourselves in our hearts to giving our prayers to all those who are hurting at this time. Cantor will sing the beginning of Misha Berach, and then as we offer the names, if you have extra names that I'm not aware of, please add them in the chat.
Misha Berach avotenu, מקור הברכה לאמותינו. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
We offer healing prayers for, among others, Al Marks, Alice Kaufman, Arnold Farber, Andrea Drawinko, Al Mangine, Bela Batmeda Brina, Baruch Ben Bracha, Bill Dunk, Bina Batmalka, Brian Goldberg, Brian Padveen, Carol Curtis, Kay Rebus, Dale Vine, David Keith, Duty Muse, Eddie Martin, Farida Batmazal, Floyd Truitt, Frida Beeler, Gail Tobin, Gary Getz and family, Joseph McLaughlin, Jenya Gottfried, Hazel Ash, Ida Silverstein, Iris Kelly, Irma Freudenreich, Janetta Rodriguez and family, Molly Tunitsky, Jane Wills, John Bassett, John Scott Miller, John Van Natta, Lawrence Levy, Leah Tzipora, Bat Shoshana, Lisa Lappin, Louise Pennington, Malka Badyeta, Marilyn Padveen, Mike Box, Misha Natanzon, Neil Davis, Norm Bader, Paul Varner, Philip Gutman, Richard Sanders, Richard Weisberg, Rhoda Dubin, Ron Feller, Rose Lerner, Rosalind Mandel, Sandy Kurlander, Sandra Brooks, Sheila Schumann, Stacy Parker, Prudence, Tom Graff, Vicky Van Natta. For all the names that have been said and the names that haven't been said. For those we offer our prayers, and those who have no one to pray for them. We also pray tonight for Lizzie Zakes, and for everyone who has no one to pray for them. May all our prayers be heard.
Blessed those in need of healing, with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And let us say,
For all those in need of extra prayers at this time, Frank Quinlan is also among those who we offer our prayers for. The other tradition on Shavuot, it's one of 4 times of the year that we remember everybody who has passed away. This is a YIZKOR event that on Yom Kippur and on Sukkot and at the end of Sukkot, at the end of Pesach, and on Shavuot, we observe YIZKOR. It's a time to remember everyone. And so I would like to offer an opportunity at this time as I recite YIZKOR. For everyone, we're going to take a silent moment for everyone to think about anyone who has been dear to them, who they might be remembering at this time. YIZKOR Elohim nishmot karovai, shalchu l'olamam, ba'avor she'eini noder, tzedakah, ba'ad hazkarat nishmotam. May God remember all the souls who have been part of our lives, all of our relatives and friends, all the dear ones, strangers and acquaintances, all who have gone to their eternal rest. In remembrance of them, we pledge to perform acts of tzedakah and kindness. May their souls be treasured in the cluster of immortals, along with Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel, and all the righteous men and women who have merited a share in the world to come. V'nomar amen. We all say amen.
Amen.
Take a moment of silence and connect with all of these dear souls. At this, at all times, we remember them.
in the rising of the sun and its going down, we remember them. We remember blowing over the wind, and in the chill of winter, we will remember them. We will remember them. In the opening of birds and in the rebirth of spring, we'll remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we will remember them. We will remember them. In the beginning of the year, and when it ends, we will remember them. We will remember them. No one we are weary and in need of strength. We remember them. When we are lost and are sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. We remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them.
For everything there is a season, a time for every place under heaven, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to tear down and a time to build up, a time to plant and a time to uproot what is planted, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to grieve and a time to dance, a time to throw stones and a time to gather stones, a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing, a time to seek and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to discard, a time to tear and a time to sow, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. Among all those who we remember, we especially think about those who passed away in the month of May. As I let my dog go out. Leela, you want to go out? Go ahead. You don't have to stay for Kaddish. Apologize. We remember those who passed away in the month of May, as well as those who have passed away more recently. If you add someone to the chat, please designate whether it's an anniversary or if it's someone who passed away recently. We remember Tommy Munger, Reva Kramer, Ruth Gerhardt, Edith Levy, David Auerbach, Beverly Litt, Evelyn Lovett, David Sayevitz, Lester Nussbaum Sr., Victor Rosen, Jolan Halpern, Morton Wallach, Erwin Gottfried, Philip Salkin, David Rosenberg, William Denbina, Benjamin Hirsch, Sadie Nussbaum, Harold Gordon, Robert Koresh, William Holland, Irving Beigel, Ernest Graff, Cliff Thomas Smith. We also remember other yortzites of Don Kinatiter and Alvin Lubov. More recently, we lost Bill Podorzer. A woman named Gladys Rodriguez passed away today at the age of 93, and she was connected to COVID-19. And Yevgenia Tunitsky Lebedeva, Cantor Tunitsky's mother, passed away. We also remember other recent passings of Mirta Morquin, Paul Lewis, Helen Howard, and very recently, today, Eva Stockett, who we've been praying for, and Lois Klausner Levin Hudson, who passed away last week in her 80s, but also of complications from COVID. All those who are hurting at this time, we also remember that we have the opportunity to connect with lives before us and to connect with ways that we have become part of others. Another one who passed away yesterday was Sid MacArthur. And we also know that during this time of COVID and this time of difficult violence in the country, that our prayers go to everyone, that may the holiness that the Holy One gives to each human being be something that we are enabled to be able to connect with the best of us and with the best of those who we've respected in the past. Those who choose to recite Kaddish together, standing or seated, however you choose. We offer these words connecting us to God. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayei v'yomei v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, v'gala v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mavarach li'olam omei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei dekudashah b'rechu, la'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran bi'alma v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yamru amen. May God grant peace to those who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. And we all say, amen.
Oseh shalom, shalom b'romav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'yimru amen. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh shalom.
Thank you. May that peaceful prayer be one that continues in our difficult times, both with the virus and other violence that is happening. So, let's honor some simchas. What joyous things do we have? You can chat it in or raise your hand. Lauren, look at and see if anybody's trying to be on mute. Who has a simcha? I know of one specifically, that Lacey Bormaster successfully met with 3 rabbis yesterday toward her Beit Din. It was her Beit Din, the Court of Justice, and she has chosen to convert to Judaism. Mazel tov, Lacey. And on Monday, and finish the conversion process. Terrific. Catherine Zakes. Yes, Mazel tov.
Sorry.
That's
Manic stuff.
Catherine Zakes graduated this week. Was that from something connected to being an educator for the hard of hearing, right, Catherine?
Interpreter, sign language interpreter.
Wonderful. A very, very needed event. We had the 101st birthday of, I think that's Debbie Laurie's mother, 101. Her birthday will be Tuesday, June 1st. Hi Penn will also be a year older on June 1st. And he's got a special number for that, which he'll tell you if he wants to. And
Happy birthday, Hi.
yay! Yay, on Monday, June 1st. And somebody, from someone to me, someone got married? Maybe that.
No, me, birthday. I have a birthday yesterday.
Oh, Mazel Tov.
I got married, Rabbi Dan.
Who got married?
Noel.
Oh, that's right. Yay! It didn't say who it was.
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said that.
No, it just says from to me.
Oh,
Yes.
I got
Mazel Tov,
Sunday.
Noel.
Sunday.
Oh, on
Yeah.
Sunday? Last Sunday?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
so happy for
We
you.
thought about delaying it, but we said, you know what? All the people, we said we want to celebrate something, in the middle of this. So, yes.
Right. And what is your husband's name?
Baca, it's Bacha, but around here people call it Baca.
Wonderful. Mazel Tov, and I can't wait to bless you in person at the synagogue when you bring it.
Yes.
Yes. Jeffrey, you've got something. Jeff Kaufman, are you raising your hand, Alex?
Ari got graduated from kindergarten.
All right. Is she going to stop her education now, or is she going to go on to first grade?
She's going on to first grade at the top of her class.
All right. All right. Mrs. Gordon, did you want to announce something?
Oh, we already did that.
Okay. All right. But
I think.
she's starting graduate school.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Any other simchas?
What about Rachel? My Rachel Blumen.
Finished elementary school and is starting first grade next year.
Hey, you want to swap? You can go to graduate school and I'll go. No, you could probably do better than me.
It is my last day of school.
Oh, well, don't shake a sword at us for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So all the children have an opportunity to have a wonderful summer. We hope for all these blessings and more. We say Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'achiyanu v'kiyamanu v'hegiyanu lazman hazeh. Blessed are you, God, ruler of all, who keeps us in life and sustains us, enabling us to reach this joyous time. Cantor? And a final blessing for all of us. Shema kolenu Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam. Hear our voice, O Lord our God, Spirit of the world. Dear God, on this holiday of Shavuot, let us remember our commitments, not just to the 10 Commandments, but to be kind to one another. Let us remember the story of the book of Ruth and how one kindness leads to another. Let us remember that wherever we've come from, we have the opportunity to be the sacred human beings that you have led us to become. Let us be on that path of Derech Eretz, the proper way to live. And let us be able to learn from each other and from your Torah all the blessings that you've given us.
Yahel Adonai panav elecha lichuneka Yisa Adonai panav elecha ve'asem lecha
The Holy One blesses us and protects us. The Holy One's face shines upon us and is gracious unto us. May God's presence always be with us to give us peace. Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's desire, and we all say, Amen. Torah Ora, the light of God, the light of Torah, the light of learning. Hallelujah.
Yes, Israel ve'oraita ve'kudesha berihu chadahu. Israel ve'oraita ve'kudesha berihu haku. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah. Torah, Torah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Once again, we'd like to thank Craig Gottfried for sponsoring tonight's service in memory of his loving father, Erwin Gottfried. And a couple of things coming up. We've got a few things for the dates to be finalized. We've got some adult learning coming up. The Sunday morning adult learning will continue as scheduled. You check your emails for the links. And coming up, we've got a few different things that are on the horizon, so keep looking at your emails. But the most, the closest upcoming event is next Friday night. We're going to have a guest speaker on the subject, Be a Blessing, Judaism's Message to the World. And our speaker is well-known author, Rabbi Rami Shapiro. Rami Shapiro visited Temple Beth Torah over 10 years ago, and he developed a real following. And there's a group called the Wisdom Seekers who meet every Sunday morning and study his books. And he is a very interesting guy. He's called the Holy Rascal. He developed a whole society of holy rascals. He's an expert on interfaith teaching. He's a professor of comparative religions, and his poetry is used at synagogues throughout the world. He's really a beautiful poet and writer, and he's going to give a very, very interesting talk as part of our Friday night services next week. So don't miss that. It also happens to be sponsored anonymously, and we're very excited that Rabbi Rami will be with us. Check your emails for other events happening in June. And Savrei L'chaim. We'll unmute everybody for the, if you like, raise a glass of anything. Raise a pretend glass if you like. Savrei L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, borei peri ha'afen. Blessed are you, God, creator of the world, who brings us fruit from the vine. Amen. And in honor of Shavuot, an actual challah tonight. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat shalom, hey, Shabbat, 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 shalom.